I will say I like the blue yellow Beerus is just stupid. Like that card is just
Yeah,
asking for
that's a big one
Hmm.
too.
for for trouble. And then I'll just say Great Priest as long as Soul Striker still lives, and as the unison, and then not the leader, the blue unison. And then I'll just
Gotta
put my
specify.
I'll put my faith in saying the wish leader. I'll just without even seeing it, I know it's my top three favorite, so
True.
no question. It's gonna age super well. I'm sure of it. Hey everyone, Eggman here with another video, and today we're going to talk about the Set 16 Zamasu Wish Leader, which is, I think, my favorite leader from the entire set. It's been a lot of fun. I tested it extensively, and I think it's just really good for what it is and everything. So, a couple things. One, if you guys want to see some gameplay re-uploaded to this, just get this video to 50 likes. I'll make sure to do that. It will be commentated, sped up, and all that other stuff I do for it. And then also, today's format is going to be a little bit different. I'm just going to talk about some individual cards from the archetype, and then I'm going to have a deck list at the end. So if you only care about the deck list, it's going to be in the description, or you can also just skip to that part in the video. But let's get started with the leader itself. So we do have this Zamasu leader. Is a wish leader. So if you haven't played this game for a while, wish leaders are essentially kind of to stimulate the idea that you have to find the Dragon Balls to make a wish. And so this Zamasu, you look at the top two Dragon Ball, or when you swing, you get to add two Dragon Balls to your hand, and then shuffle if you look through your life for a deck, regardless. And then also, when your life is at 3 or less, or there are 7 Dragon Balls in your drop here, you get to draw one, place all Dragon Ball cards to the bottom of your deck in any order, and flip this card over. Then you also have the activate once per turn, choose one, draw one card, add up to one Dragon Ball from your deck to your hand, and then you can also have your big wish, where remove 7 Dragon Balls from your drop area from the game. If you do, play up to one Zamasu card with any cost of 2 or less, and an indestructible from your warp, and this card gains triple attack for the turn. So a very, very strong leader in the sense there's a lot of draw, there's a lot of cycle. The fact that it has an alternate awakening condition when your life's at 3 or less is fantastic, because a lot of wish leaders get aggro down and then you can't do that. And then we also do have this new Dragon Ball. Additionally, real quick, right now it's ruled that you can have up to 7 of these in your list. This is before the set comes out, so that might not be true later. I would say ideally you'd want to run 4 or 5 of these guys anyways. I wouldn't run the full 7. But what I will say is that this is fantastic for putting cards into your warp, which normally most archetypes that's not a good thing, but there are a lot of cards in this archetype that's fantastic. So the only reason I wouldn't run 7 of this guy is that sometimes you don't have the god cards to put into your warp, or you don't have anything, but the cycling through your deck is fantastic, being able to get the draw, and the fact that it's a yellow extra card for some cards that we have in this deck later, I think that's very good for it too. So moving right along, we do have the I'd say these are probably the best Zamasus and Goku Black from the set. So this Zamasu, pretty standard for what it does. It's indestructible, so you can play it off the triple attack. Big wish for this guy. Active main limit 1 for 1 yellow. If your leader card is a Zamasu Goku Black card, add this card to your hand from your warp. So if you go first and use a coercion, or just on your first turn, you can coercion, warp one of these, and then we don't have a lot of turn 1 plays normally, unless you have, like, this could just be an alternative turn 1 play. You can add it back to your hand. It's a free draw, which is fantastic. I guess it's not free, you have to pay an energy for it, but it's good. And then also active battle, send this card and 1 Goku Black card from your combo area to the owner's warp to draw 1. This is good, as we'll see in a little bit too, especially with this Goku Black. You want this guy in your warp at all times. But we do need to have a Goku Black and a Zamasu in our combo areas for some plays we're going to talk about later. So this is very good for what you want. I think this is a 4 of, just for all the utility it has, and it's very, very good for what you're doing. Then we also have the Super Saiyan Rose Goku Black Future on the line. This card has a lot of text, and it is probably the backbone of most lists if you build around it. It is so, so good at doing so many different things. The permanent that it's treated as blue is only in the battle area, so it can't be a blue-yellow energy or like a blue-yellow for like a combo, so you can do like some kind of a rival play. But besides, so it's very niche why he's blue. But I'm going to go through the order of these effects weird. But normally what you do is you get this card to your warp. You can either use like the Zamasu or Coercion, something like that. For 2, if you have 2 or more blue and or yellow cards in your battle area and or combo area, you can play this card for your hand or warp. The fact that you can just have 2 cards on the field and meet this requirement is bonkers. So you play this from your warp for 2. Additionally, this is not being played from your hand, so being able to play from the warp is an inherent +1, which is nice. And then auto limit 1 if your leader card is yellow, and it doesn't have to even... This card could be used in other decks, which is cool. When this card is played, choose up to one of your opponent's non-leader cards and switch it to rest mode. So that's good, being able to normally just tap energy. So yeah, you use 2 energy and then you make your opponent tap 1 energy is pretty good, especially since this is, there's some Aegis stuff that's coming up later. And then also activating for 1, you can send this card to its owner's warp, draw 1 card, then choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards in rest mode and KO it. There's no restriction of cost for this, and the fact that it does go to warp, so you can play the active battle and play it again later. And you get to draw 1 off this. This is such good cycle. I think this could just straight up replace Turtles in a lot of builds and decks you're running anyways. So this is one of my favorite cards. This is so good. You have to make sure you know how to play around it and play with it correctly, but when you do, it just feels fantastic. Being able to make your opponent tap an energy every turn on top of some other cards makes this, I think, a very, very strong deck for a deck that really, can't mitigate losing 2 or 3 energy every turn. So, which should be most decks, but moving right along, we do have the new Zamasu, the new few Zamasus rather. So this is kind of the Aegis stuff that we were talking about. We do have the 5-drop. So real quick, so it has an active battle for 1 blue, 1 yellow. This isn't an arrival skill, but it more or less is. So if your leader card is a Zamasu or Goku Black card, and there's at least 1 Zamasu card and 1 Goku Black card in your combo area, play this card from your hand. So being able to combo with both of these boys, get this guy out, and then you can use if you're over comboing, you can warp both these guys, and then you can get the draw 1 too, which is very good. When this card activates its Aegis blue yellow skill, which it does have because it's a blocker, it's indestructible, unique, energy exhaust, and Aegis. So, but when it activates its Aegis, you can choose one of your opponent's non-leader cards, switch to rest mode. So again, energy is normally what you want to do. So real quick, you can see the synergy of you activate Aegis for pitching a card, you untap 2 energy, you make your opponent tap 1, and then you can play this Goku Black, and then you use the Goku Black for 2 from your warp for free. For free, I mean, it doesn't have to be in your hand because it just needs to be in your warp. You play it, and then you make your opponent tap 1. So you used essentially 2 energy to make your opponent tap 2 energy, and you have to pitch a card, but you also get this Goku Black for free. So it's all neutral. It's all balanced in that sense, where you used 2 energy and 1 card to make your opponent lose 2 energy, and you get your card back. So I guess you use 0 energy to do that. That just feels good. It's very, very, very good in a lot of ways. So I think that's great. And then also we do have the Fuse Zamasu Exterminating Force. So it's energy exhaust, unique, double strike, indestructible blocker. Neither of these guys have barrier, so that is something to watch out for. Especially if you're getting I think the biggest thing about these guys, if they can get final flashed, if you tapped out for this, you feel really bad for it. But it's an EX Evolve for 1 blue, 1 yellow, 2 for a blue Zamasu with energy cost of 5. It doesn't have to be this one either. There's the other 5-drop that you can Union Absorb for free, or Union Fusion for free. Or sorry, Union Patara. I always get the unions mixed up. So it goes up with this boy. There's a 5-drop that came with the same set of this one. But it does have Aegis. If your leader card is a Zamasu or Goku Black card, negate this card's energy exhaust skill in all areas, which is really nice. And then when this card activates its Aegis blue yellow skill, draw 1, switch this card to active mode, then choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards and switch it to rest mode. Or so just 1 card. So this can tap leaders on top of anything else. So that could be a strong point for it. Normally, still tapping energy in my experience is still better, especially since this is blocker and you can restand it and stuff. But what a nasty card for what it is. It feels very good for what you're doing, and you can do some silly things where you can do the 9-drop. You can, if you have the 9-drop out, you can use Aegis, get 2 energy, then use combo out a Fuse Zamasu 5-drop, use its Aegis to make your opponent tap a 2nd card, and then with the 2 more energy you just got, you can play the Goku Black and make your opponent tap a 3rd card. So it's very good. It's being able to make your opponent out of nowhere tap 3 energy can normally win you the game. And of course, Bergamo is in this deck too, if you're running it that kind of method, and kind of go from there. I did want to mention the 9-drop Zamasu. There are probably like 3 ways to build this deck. More of a blue leaning, more of a yellow leaning, and a blue-yellow leaning. I think the mono-yellow version people are going to try because you can just abuse probably all the same cards that Higher Dragon does, and it depends on what the ban list is coming up. But the blue-yellow variant, I think, is very, very strong for what it is, and it's my preferred variant and what this variant is at the end of this video. But I think that's kind of the way to go. But being able to play Tragedy Overground is fantastic, and this definitely leads to it because we do have this 5-drop Zamasu. And honestly, a lot of the time the 9-drop is just kind of a win more card. So if the 5-drop is more or less just a smaller version of the 9-drop, and that's fine because the 5-drop is still amazing for what it does. So if you don't want to spend the energy to get this big 9-drop out, I think the big Zamasu is great. The only thing is that you have to have 4 mono blue energy, but besides that, I think he's a very solid card to try to get out. And then lastly, some just cards I want to mention. This is more support from the actual set, and they're all kind of more of a mono yellow build for it. So this 1-drop Zamasu looks top 5 and adds either a god or a unison card, so that's fine. And then also for 2, you can essentially get this 5-drop out without having to run the blue-yellow variant, which is fine. I think that's an okay compromise for you. You still have to obviously discard blue cards for the Aegis effect, but I don't know. I think you still want to run blue-yellow in general. We also have this Zamasu Plotting Eradication, so you can play it turn 1, add a Dragon Ball to your hand, and the active main, if your leader card is a Zamasu Goku Black card, and you choose one of your Gawasu cards and place an orange drop, you place up to 2 Dragon Balls from your deck into your drop area and then shuffle. So you play this. Turn 2, you play Gawasu and go from there. You also can do, I don't understand this part. This doesn't make sense to me. But on turn 2, you can play Rumishi. You can use Rumishi to either +2 and place 2 Dragon Balls from your deck to your drop area, or you can +0 to play a Gawasu for free. And then Gawasu will look at top 3 for a God card, I guess. And then you can use the Zamasu to put 2. I mean, like, I don't think that's worth it. I think if you play Rumishi, you just literally do it for the +2 for your Dragon Balls and go from there. I don't think you need to kind of go through the song and dance of playing a Gawasu for free and then popping the Gawasu with the Zamasu to put the same. Like, if one of these added them to hand, maybe that would make sense. But since both of them go into the drop area, I think those markers are way, way more important. So I don't know. I think I haven't explored the mono yellow variant or a more mono yellow variant as much for this deck. I think it exists, but I really do like the kind of yellow-blue variant. So let's jump into the deck list now. Here is my deck list that I ran on my Friday stream for like 6 hours. It was super fun. Again, if you want me to re-upload any matches from it, please get to 50 likes on this video. But I'm just going to do a quicker rundown. I'd say this is probably a more unique build of it too. I'd make some kind of, I would say, weird choices, but I think they really, really pan out. First, because I can only tell that people are going to be typing up things in the comments. Why am I playing this guy if I'm playing cards that aren't Zamasu and Goku Black? The active main, limit 1, whatever. I can't, don't worry. So the whole reason we're running this card is for like turn 5 or 6 when we have like 5 Dragon Balls in our drop here, and we need to get 2 more in there just so we can get our leader to get enough for its triple attack. So in the active main for limit 1, you just have to play you play it for free, right? It's pretty much saying, you know what? Boom, bam. We play it from Wart for free. We get the 2 Dragon Balls in there. We can't play anything else for the turn, but we get triple attack for your leader and can go for game. So it's not, you only play it at the end of the game to get that Warp potential, all right? That's all, okay? We don't play it turn 2 for the Dragon Balls or anything like that. That's why we play this guy. All right, moving right along. So the cards for this are pretty all over the place, especially with my unison choice. But the kind of idea is that you really want a hard blue-yellow version. And one, there are a lot of blue-yellow gods. There are also a lot of blue-yellow gods that get around energy exhaust. So we do have Zamasu the Eliminator, which is fantastic for playing for free from your warp. Or where is this played from? Drop area. From your warp. Yeah. So this is like the best card to choose from your warp because you get to draw a card and rest something when you play it for free, even though it's just a 5k. And then from there, we also have the Beerus Fickle God, which is, once again, is a god. And Coercion only cares about sending a God card from your to your warp. So the fact that you don't care about that is good. Most of these cards are gods anyways, and that's what we got. We decided to go with the Great Priest Invitation to Battle. This is just my favorite unison in the set, if you can't imagine. I put it in like most any blue deck, but the good things about this one, it's a 3-drop unison that will have, that's 20k. The +1 active battle for this card is so fantastic. So you switch this card to rest, switch to 1 blue god card in your energy to active mode, and then I can choose 1 card and combo with it, a god card with combo cost of 1 in my hand and combo with it if I want to. But it's just the energy to untap. The untap is good. Being able to get this out for essentially 2 markers by doing that. The -3 when your opponent plays a battle card with any cost greater than the current energy, return that card to its owner's hand is fantastic. And just being able to play the Trunks. The Trunks is the whole reason we're running this guy, and I think it's worth it for what it is. We're playing a lot of blue cards anyways, and we have blue-yellow for what we have. Worst case, if we just have these extra cards in our hand that we're not using, we're able to just pop them for Aegis. So like if we have extra copies of Great Priest in hand, we can get rid of this and a yellow card to use Aegis, so that's fine. And just being able to, Godstealing Trunks is just so good. It's worth it running it. And then also the -3 for this guy, I haven't really used it, but it's because my opponent has to play around it, right? So this can get around deflect cards. And the reason, they still get the, when you play this card, when they do, but it's so good. And I don't think, when your opponent plays Battle Card Creator, I think it gets around Barrier too. It doesn't say choose. It just says when your opponent plays a battle card with any cost greater than their current energy, return that card to your owner's hand. It doesn't say choose that card; it just says return it. So I as far as I know, it gets around barrier. So it's a really strong -3 for a card that you're gonna have a hard time. Your opponent's gonna have a hard time getting rid of it in the first place. So. Other cards we're talking about, we have Bergamo's fantastic. Cooler is good for us too. We normally win on turn like 5 or 6, and so if we try to like start going like triple attack with our leader in or something like that, and they try to like topo negate or something like that, we can just Cooler and just make sure we get in, and then you just feel good about it. We're also running this Encouraging Presence. This is a fantastic card for our leader because it just gives a double strike for the turn. Worst case, it's a 1 blue to draw 1 card, so that's fine. If we need some extra cycle, or you can just, if you need Aegis, once again, Aegis makes a lot of cards in your hand that would be dead, not dead. And so being able to run this and potentially win the game is good. Obviously, if you put it on your leader early and they can have like a negate, you feel bad about it. But also, we can run this card and Swift Cooler Retaliation in the same deck, and so we just feel very good about it. So anything else? So this is a good card, and since we have all the coercions are extra cards, we can play this for 1, which is good. Decided to choose Wicked Sands as our secret rare. It is the flasher card, and I like it so. But just the fact that this is just a fantastic card to run off Aegis as well. So if your opponent doesn't, if you don't have the need to tap something down, you can just play this guy instead. It's a dual attack blocker for 2, and it makes your opponent drop 4 cards from their hand, or sorry, 2 cards from their hand. So I think it's good for what it is and can help the deck out. And it's a 10k combo for free. And it's a Goku Black. There's just a lot of good things for this guy. So I like this as an idea. Mecha Frieza, for once again, we have a lot of option cards. And I think that's about it. Once again, if we can only run 4 of these, if this gets the ruling for this changes, we go to 3. 4 and 3. I think that's fine for what we're at. Bean, I was running at 3, but if you just bean up your leader and it has triple attack, your opponent's going to be very sad about that. So I think that's the idea. These are some cards to consider that I don't run, and people, if I didn't mention them, I think people would be like, "Why didn't you playing this guy?" Final Flash is good, but I don't think all our energy can be yellow, but we sometimes just hard charge a blue card, especially since we need to have 3 blue for this. So I don't think he's good. You need mono yellow energy for Power Super Saiyan, and I don't think that's going to happen in this list as much. So that's why. I could see running Realm of the Gods, Black Kamehameha, being able to just choose one of your opponent's battle cards and rest mode and KO it, or if it's your opponent's turn, draw 1, then choose up to 2 of your opponent's battle cards, switch to rest mode. I could see this one being played, it's okay, but most of the time, whenever I had energy to spare, I would rather just play one of these Rosés from my warp, being able to pop something. And it has the same activate for 1, being able to draw a card and pop something and rest anyways, and it doesn't have the restriction that this card does. or sorry, this one doesn't have restriction. That's fine. So I still think this is just way more flexible for what we're doing. Freeze armor reinforcements. I think we have a bunch of big blockers in this list, and we make it hard for opponent to play cards and swing. So I don't find negates needed. We only run 3 Mecha Frieza, and I think that's already. I could already kind of see maybe if needing to go to 2, and that kind of thing. Also, real quick, 60 cards is fine. You want 60 cards. We get so much cycle with coercion. I haven't had any issue, and there's still cards I want to fit in here that it's just tough to. So I think 60 is totally fine for what this list is. Anything else? Turtles is probably the biggest ask. So on the Awakened side, we are a yellow Saiyan. So we can play Turtles. And I had Turtles in this list for a long time. And I just, once again, Rose was just better for what it was. And I would almost always rather play Rose than play Turtles. So this still gets the pop, it still gets the card draw, and it's just more flexible. And the fact that this plays from Warp inherently means you get another card draw because you play it outside of your hand. So like just the fact that you can play this card from your Warp instead of having to play it from your hand means you get more flexibility with it. So I think this is just the better card for it. I think if you play Turtles, it's not wrong. But the fact that it has Double Strike is good, and that can be brought up. But for playing Monaka anyways, I think we're okay. But I think that's all I really have to say about this deck. It's really fun. It's really, really fun. I think it is my favorite of this entire kind of set. I like what it does, and honestly, I feel like it's almost a little oppressive with how much energy tap it can have with all the Aegis effects and the Rose Black. Like, I don't think this card gets an alt art, but if it did, I'd totally get a place out of it. It's such a good card. I like it so much. But that's going to be it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know what you guys think about this list. Show me your own list for the Zamasu leader. I'll catch you all next time.
Damn it.